everyone. Welcome to PyLadies Con 2025. I'm sure you are all having a great time here. Now, I'm super excited to introduce the next talk. So, the next talk is not just code, building communities that don't burn people out by Aishat. So Aishat is a design lead at the Async API initiative, where she also serves on the code of conduct and technical steering committees. She's an active contributor to the Chaos and the founder of Openness Africa, a community built to make open source less intimidating and more fun, especially to the folk from underrepresented backgrounds. And I think the talk's title sounds really interesting, and I'm sure you get a lot of insight by the end of the talk. So, I think the stage is all yours now. Over to you.
Hello, my name is Aishat Muibudeen, and welcome to my presentation titled Not Just Code, Building a Community That Don't Burn People Out. Before we get started, let me give you a little bit of introduction of who I am, what I do. I hope you enjoy this presentation. I'm the founder and community leader at Open East Africa, and I'm also the design lead at Async API Initiative, where I volunteer to maintain the website design, the brand design, as well as the conference website design. In addition to this, I'm also an open source maintainer, member of the Code of Conduct Committee and TSC Committee at Async API Initiative. Before Async API Initiative, I was an outreach intern where I worked with Opera Foundation as an UX researcher, and I'm also an ex-baker. Currently, I'm learning German, and it's so fun. Now, let's get to my presentation for today. I have a few agenda here that we are going to go through. The first thing is what open source gets right and what does it misses. When passion meets burnout, what happens? How does passion meet burnout? What we don't talk about in OSS, what are those things that we mostly do not talk about in OSS? How can we build better communities? And how can open source sustain people and not drain them? So now let's get started. When we talk about open source, what's the first thing that comes to your head? Innovation, collaboration, community, right? Yeah. Open source is this big community that brings people together from different parts of the world, that is built on trust, collaboration with different people. Think of open source as a place where people from different backgrounds, from different individual differences, comes together to achieve a common goal of building a product that is available for the community to use. That is what open source is, right? It breaks barriers, build a community of knowledge, a community of people. Think of Linux Foundation, Kubernetes, and even everyday tools that we use. But here it's what is misses. We often celebrate codes, comments, releases, but not always be the people behind these things. We celebrate how much releases we have in the community, how much code, how much things that have been done in the community. But it's not always these people behind these things. The maintainers who answers question at 2 a.m., the contributor who is juggling two jobs with community work, or is it the community lead that has to be there always to maintain and keep the community in order? Open source thrives on passion, but passion is not a renewable resources. What do I mean by passion is not a renewable resource? Passion drives people to contribute to projects, answer questions, be there for other people in the community, even mentor people out of their regular job. But unlike machine, humans don't have infinity energy. Over time, when people give and give, mentor people, be there for people, answer questions in the community, without a sense of them being received, a support, recognition back, they burn out, they get frustrated, they get tired. You can't keep extracting enthusiasm, time, human labor from people without giving them something back. With time, they will burn out when they don't have anything left to give. So before we move on to burnout, let me state a simple truth. Open source run on people, not just code. Now let's move on to the next slide. When passion meets burnout, what happens? I just want to help until I couldn't do it anymore. Imagine a contributor that joined the community out of excitement. They want to contribute to code, to design, to research. They start being there for people, showing up, but with time they get tired. The passion that pushed them to contribute to the community is no longer there because they are tired and they don't have anything left to give. Passion brought them there to that community. But let's be real here. Passion alone cannot continue to keep them going. So, what is the hidden cost here? What is the hidden cost to making sure that contributors, maintainers, they keep going without them feeling burnout or being left out? Let's move on to the next slide. What we don't talk about in open source: burnout, loneliness, exclusion, and the expectation to always be on. We should normalize and celebrate people taking off time in open source, people traveling, going on holiday with their family, and not just the code, the commit, the GitHub actions, and all this stuff. We should normalize and encourage contributors, maintainers especially, to take break, to understand the situations that it is okay for them not to be there for a while and for them to come back when they are perfectly in good condition to contribute to the community. This is not just a story that is happening to one person. It is what me myself have experienced in open source. I always try to be online. I always try to be there for contributors. I always try to give back to my community. But with time, I get burned out. I get tired. I just want to take a break. But it has gotten to me to the extent that even when I'm not with my phone or when I'm not here with my system, I feel like I'm going to miss a lot in the community. Whereas it's not supposed to be like that. We're supposed to encourage talks, encourage talks beyond contributing to the community, beyond contributing to code, contributing to design, contributing to research. Also encourage people to take time off to reflect, to come back to the community and be a better person. So the question now is, how do we change this? How do we build community that supports people and not drain them? That moves us to the next slide. The good news is we can do better. Sustainable communities are not built overnight. It takes a little change for a very big change to happen. The first thing here is to recognize contributors, maintainers, community contributions, even those that ask questions. Let's celebrate them beyond Git commit, Git code, designing a website, doing this or that. Celebrate and recognize our contributors. Let them feel loved and feel part of the community. The second thing is to set healthy boundaries. As a maintainer, as a contributor, learn how to say no. Not saying no because you cannot do it, but saying no because you need to take time, reflect, and have time for yourself. So let's work on this because I need to do this and learn how to say no, just for the fun of it and for the fun of you having time for yourself. The third thing is to design for inclusion. Accept and recognize voices from different backgrounds, different people with colors, different people. Learn how to accommodate and include people in the community discussion and community and the open source community. Community care is an infrastructure. Without it, everything will eventually crack down. So learn how to recognize your contributors, set healthy boundaries for yourself as a contributor, as a maintainer, and make sure you design for inclusion, recognize empathy, accessibility, and make sure there are clear communications in the community. Imagine an open source community where contributors feel valued and not drained, where empathy is the process, and where we build with people and not just for them. This is what open source looks like when we treat community health just as much as we treat code. Because community health is as vital as code itself in the community, is as vital as the whole community itself. So when we treat community health, we are not just treating the community, we're also treating the sustainability and the because open source is not just a community movement, it's a human one. And if we get that right, we will not only build better software, but actually build a community where people can learn and thrive even better. Thank you, not just for the code you write, but for the care you bring to your community. That will be all for my presentation, and thank you for attending this presentation.
Aisha, that was an amazing talk, and I really loved the way you covered the inclusion aspect, which is really important in the open source ecosystem. Thanks again for sharing the knowledge to us. And folks, if you have more questions on this topic, feel free to drop it in the Discord channel, and I'll see you all in the next talk. Take care.